Oh, so she showed up at these various events, and as you can imagine, the internet did not miss. They did not miss.
You're not going to believe what Angel Reese just did at the Super Bowl. She called out another player for being selfish. Can you imagine the irony here? This is coming from the same player who can't seem to pass the ball herself. Now you might be thinking, wait, didn't the NFL just call her an LSU legend? Well, hold on to your seats, because we're about to dive into why that title might be a bit premature and why Caitlin Clark is the real legend in the making. Let's get down to business. You're not going to believe what Angel Reese did at the Super Bowl.
She showed up to one event, and there's a couple of different places that put out the same video clip, and there was a lot of response to it, but one could only say, could you cover the chesticles up? She was out everywhere.
It's like she forgot she was there to watch football, not be the main event. Picture this, Reese shows up wearing an outfit that's got more bounce than her jump shot. I mean, come on, you're at the biggest game of the year, not a fashion show.
And she showed up right here with her business out. You can see the business is just everywhere. Chesticles bouncing all over the place. Let's check this out.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So you're a super smart woman. I have to ask, what's a smart?
But here's where it gets really interesting. Reese decides to call out another player for being selfish. Can you believe the irony? Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't Reese known for not passing the ball herself? Well, you'd be right. And that's exactly why this move blew up in her face.
I'm honest though.
Okay, if I'm asking you something else.
You ask, I'm something else.
So if I'm asking you something else.
I am. Do your job.
But I'm the captain.
That don't mean.
I'm gonna respect that. If I'm asked, something else.
Okay.
But if I feel like I can back on that field, I'm gonna let you know.
You can't be selfish, because I seen you at the All-Star game before and you wanted to score and not pass the ball.
Let's break down the reaction. Social media went wild with fans and critics alike calling out Reese for her lack of self-awareness. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion. But instead of a car, it was Reese's reputation. Taking the hit, people were posting left and right, questioning her motives and wondering if she lost touch with reality.
So, right here, this guy said, did she really say you can't be selfish when she takes 30 shots and misses 27 of them instead of passing to her teammates?
Reese's own supporters couldn't defend her this time. They were like, girl, what are you doing? Focus on your game, not the cameras. It's pretty bad when your own fans are telling you to sit down and be quiet, right? But that's exactly what happened. People who used to cheer for her every move were now shaking their heads in disbelief.
Trash. Yeah, there you go. She's not any good at basketball, so she has to show some skin to stay relevant. A lot of people called her out over wearing heels because she's so damn tall.
Meanwhile, the NFL is trying to hype Reese up as an LSU legend alongside Jaden Daniels. But fans weren't buying it. They were quick to point out the difference between a real legend and someone just chasing clout. It was like watching a magician's trick fail in front of a live audience. Everyone could see right through it.
Angel, only a legend in her own mind. A lot of people roasted the legend part. Yeah. Laughed my ass off. Legend and Angel Reese should never be in the same sentence.
Now you might be wondering, how does this Super Bowl stunt relate with Reese's popularity? Well, hold on to your seats, because the numbers are going to shock you. How many viewers did Reese's unrivaled games get compared to Clark's jersey retirement? Brace yourself. Reese's unrivaled games covering around 100K viewers, while Clark's jersey retirement pulled in a whopping 1 million. Look at the final viewings.
Look at the final viewings. 1.1 million average viewers. 1.1 million. It was only more viewed by that other game. The second most viewed game of the season was a iffy. I'm not even going to call them a good Iowa team. An iffy Iowa team. Just because they were playing against, just because Caitlin Clark was in the building. Simple as that. Caitlin Clark being in the building.
Let that sink in for a second. Clark doesn't even have to play to outdraw Reese's actual games. It's like comparing a sold-out concert to a high school talent show. The gap is that big. And it's not just about numbers, it's about impact. While Reese was busy trying to grab attention at the Super Bowl, Clark was making waves just by existing in the basketball world.
So Angel Reese, now, correct me if I'm wrong, the Unrivaled League is going on right now, question mark? Is an actual thing. Unrivaled had games yesterday. This is their season, right? They got games tomorrow. Angel Reese, of course, as you can expect, would be on the basketball court, deep in the lab, really, really putting in work. Except she wasn't. She went to the Super Bowl.
And just like that, Reese's attempt to steal the spotlight turned into a lesson on why actions speak louder than outfits. It's like she showed up to a chess match with a checkerboard thinking she was making a power move. But in reality, she was just showing everyone how out of touch she's become.
Angel Reese shows up to the Super Bowl, and you guys never disappoint. Ever. The internet does not miss when it comes to Angel Reese. They're going to let you know how they feel.
You got to wonder what Reese was thinking. Did she really believe this would boost her image? Because if she did, it backfired spectacularly instead of coming across as a confident, successful athlete. She ended up looking like someone desperate for attention, willing to do anything to stay relevant.
Wow. Can someone please get her a real PR person? She's going to blow it. A lot of people have said that over and over and over again.
Now, you might be wondering what Caitlin Clark was up to during all the Super Bowl drama. Well, get ready, because this is where things get really interesting. While Reese was busy playing dress-up, Clark was in full beast mode, locked in and focused on her game.
And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, Rhodes, you're not going to call out Caitlin Clark for being at the Super Bowl. She's not playing in a league right now. She's not in a league right now. The league season is not going on right now. I'm just throwing that out there, seriously.
Let's break it down. Clark skipped the Super Bowl completely. You heard that, right? She passed on one of the biggest events of the year. But here's the kicker. Instead of partying it up, Clark was in the gym putting in work like it was just another day. Can you believe it? While everyone else was glued to their TVs, Clark was grinding, showing why she's a real deal.
Just expanding her bag. So no matter what teams throw at her, she can handle that. He said he wants her to feel so comfortable in her skill set that it doesn't matter what the defense does. And he wants other teams to feel like they are just going to have to accept getting buckets from Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark wants to drop 20 or 30 a game, they're just going to have to accept that, because there's not much they can do to stop.
But hold on, it gets even better. Clark wasn't just working on her own game. She was welcoming a new teammate, Dananna Boner, showing that true leadership isn't about the spotlight. It's about the team. This is the kind of stuff that doesn't make headlines, but it's what separates the greats from the rest.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season.
Now, you might be thinking, sure, that's great, but does it really matter in the long run? Well, let me tell you, it absolutely does. While Reese was making headlines for all the wrong reasons, Clark was quietly dominating and inspiring the next generation of players, coaches, and analysts weren't just noticing, they were raving about Clark's work ethic and dedicated to improving her craft.
So even though we are not able to see Caitlin Clark play in an organized league this offseason, we are getting to see her go game speed, and it'll just be really exciting to see how these little tweaks add up to the full package of Caitlin Clark gameplay that we will hopefully see during this next WNBA season.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The Indiana Fever Clarks team is building a strong roster around her. You know what that means. They see her as the future. They see her as the future. They're not just hoping she'll be great. They're betting on it. This is the kind of faith you earn when you're more focused on your game than your Instagram followers.
This is going to be history. It's like what I told her. That's pretty epic that we get to watch her, you know, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a...
But it's not just about what Clark's doing for herself. It's about the impact she's having on the sport. Young players are watching her, and they're learning that success comes from hard work, not from chasing out Clarks, showing them that being a superstar isn't about who can make the most noise, it's about who can make the most baskets.
Sure, look, either way, Caitlin Clark's going to be better than last year. Touch wood, barring injury, we might be seeing, it's likely we see the greatest ever season for a point guard in WNBA history next season. Which, if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, it's big.
Let's talk about those baskets for a second. Clark isn't just good. She's changing the game. She's not just scoring points. She's rewriting record books. While some players are busy trying to go viral, Clark's busy making history. That's the difference between chasing fame and chasing greatness.
And that is a huge, huge positive for the Fever, and everyone involved in women's basketball. Because again, the better the face of the league plays, the more people watch in general, the better it is for everybody.
You want to know the real kicker. Clark's doing all this without making a big fuss about it. She's not out there bragging or calling people out. She's just putting her head down and doing the work. And that's why she's become the face of women's basketball. It's not because she's trying to be, it's because she can't help but be.
Like, there are levels to fame, and the level of fame Caitlin Clark is at might be up there with the highest levels there are, if I'm being honest. So, like, yeah, it's just an all-around shock, to be honest.
All right, let's talk numbers, because in base stats don't lie, and boy, do these stats tell a story. You might think you know who's on top. But these rankings are about to blow your mind. ESPN just dropped their 2025 WNBA rankings. And guess who's sitting pretty near the top? That's right, Caitlin Clark. Now you might be wondering, where's Angel Reese on this list? Well, prepare yourself, because this is where it gets really eye-opening.
And also, we've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now. And Caitlin Clark is really damn high. One could argue she's not high enough. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Reed barely cracked the top 15. I mean, for someone who talks such a big game that's got the sting right. But wait, there's more. Let's look at how these rankings are playing out in real life. Clark's games. They're pulling in massive crowds, breaking viewership records left. And right, it's like every time she steps on the court, history is being made. Meanwhile, Reese's games, well, let's just say the crowds are more like a high school JV match than a pro game.
So, let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
And it's not just about popularity. Clark is rewriting the record books with her performance on the court. But here's where it gets really interesting. How often has Angel Reese been missing layups lately? It's become such a common sight that fans are making compilation videos of her missed layups. Can you believe it? While Rhea is struggling with basic shots, Clark is out here hitting shots from half court like it's no big deal.
I mean, that's rare. That's a rare sighting these days. But you know what's not a rare sighting? Missing your shots. Oh, it is clear. The one thing Angel Reese has not been doing is been in the lab working on layups. That has not been a thing. Because once again, she was crap last night shooting the ball.
Now you might be thinking, okay, but maybe Reese is just having a rough patch. Note the gap between these two isn't just wide, it's turning into a canyon. And these numbers are making it impossible to ignore. Clark's presence alone is enough to draw massive crowds. People are lining up just to catch a glimpse of her in action. It's like she's got this magnetic pull that's changing the game.
So Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement got a lot of viewers, right? But what if I told you just the fact that Caitlin Clark was in the building for this game made it one of the most popular games in women's college basketball for the season?
But let's break it down even further. While Clark is out there inspiring the next generation, what's Reese doing the analysis? Suggests that Reese is more focused on fame than on her craft. And you know what it shows? Clark's dedication to her game is paying off big time, not just in her stats, but in how she's perceived by fans and experts alike.
Now, I don't know where you are on Caitlin Clark, a lot of you viewers, but one could argue she's not high enough. Her haters will be furious that she's as high as they are, and there's a few of those comments. She's pretty damn high. There's only one player ahead of her in the league, and a lot of us could argue she may pass that player this year.
You want to know the real kicker? This isn't just about who's better on paper. These rankings, these viewership numbers, they're shaping the future of women's basketball. Clark isn't just playing the game, she's elevating it. She's showing what's possible when you put in the work, when you focus on your craft instead of your clout.
It's scary. It is actually scary how much of a draw Caitlin Clark is as a player. Like, that for me is something that I can't really comprehend. Not even as a player, as a person. And I think the fact that she's not on social media, that she's not everywhere, like, she is everywhere, but like, there's a big difference between someone who's putting themselves out there. And I still think it's still like a novelty to see Caitlin Clark in places. Where it's like, oh, if you see her at the Taylor Swift concert, oh my God, Caitlin Clark's there. Like, it's still a bit of a novelty to that with Caitlin Clark.